Ready? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting and work session for the Town Board of the Town of Ossining for November 27th, 2018. Please rise and join me for the I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, God. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. At our meeting last week, we discussed the proposed solar code local law and had suggested some revisions to the latest draft. We have our planner, David Stallman from FP Clark, here this evening to review those changes with us in a short work session, which the changes which he's incorporated into the latest draft. David, would you please walk us through the changes? And if there is nothing additional, we will then adjourn our work session, go right into our regular meeting, and start off with our public hearings.
Sure, thank you. I won't mention the source of the various comments and changes unless you want to know.
No, that's fine. Is your microphone is on? Okay, just
Testing.
can't hear you, but okay, you can hear. I can't necessarily. Okay, good. Oh, maybe that's good.
Try to
Okay,
speak into the microphone.
thank you.
Evening, Liz. So on the first page, we're looking at the draft of today's dates, 11/27/18. So on page 2, actually, we're making it clear in the definition of ground-mounted solar energy system that we're not including solar lighting systems that some people have in their yards. That's not a system that would be regulated. Wouldn't need a building permit for it. It's not regulated under this section. The next changes with respect to tier 1 solar energy systems on page 3. And there are two changes in there. We are making solar hot air or water collector devices a tier 1 solar energy system, which would only be subject to getting a building permit from John Hamilton. And we're making all roof mounted systems tier 1. No longer would they be tier 2 or tier 3.
I did actually have one quick question about that,
Sure.
even though since we're in work session. It did mention the carports. I don't remember that we wanted carports to be part of roof mounted because they seem like they're a different set kind of a structure. So, and I'm sorry, I meant to mention that to you earlier. So right now it says such as roof of carports should be processed, but I think we were talking about roofs, no matter what the size of roofs, but whereas carports are a different, more like a tier 2.
So are we talking about multiple carports? Or any carport?
Right. So, like, if a carport for a business or something like that, if they had, or I'm just going to use an example of like say Club Fit wanted to put carports
right.
in the whole parking lot, that would be a different structure. And I don't know, maybe because it's a different structure anyway, whether or not it has a solar panel on it, it would still end up having to go before the planning board. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, they would. If they wanted to put carports in their parking lot, they would definitely have to go before the planning board for site plan approval.
Okay, so then maybe it is irrelevant.
I think it's
irrelevant. Okay,
Yeah.
so then let's forget about it. Okay, continue on. Good.
So then the next change is in paragraph B on page 3 under solar energy system, and there's no limit in terms of the amount of electricity that can be consumed on the site. That was something that town board wanted changed. So it would just say tier 2 solar energy systems or ground mounted solar energy systems where the total surface area of all solar panels on the lot does not exceed 900 square feet. And there'd be no reference to it only being 110%, or the maximum being 110% of what was consumed on the site in the previous year.
Right.
And then to close the loop with respect to the solar hot air or water collection device, we would take that out of the definition of solar collector. The next change is with respect to paragraphs at the bottom of page 6. And this is in section D on page 6. general requirements. And the suggestion was that these only be requirements that would pertain to all three tiers of the solar energy, um, uh, all three tiers of solar energy systems
That's listed under general requirement.
under general
Got it.
requirements, section D.
Mhm.
So we're not going to lose these things. We're not going to lose 5, 6, and 7. They're picked up later on under tier 2 and tier 3.
Okay.
The next changes with respect to item 7, the middle of page 7, and we're saying not just mechanical equipment, but mechanical and or electrical equipment, including any structure for storage batteries, shall be enclosed by a 7-foot high fence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I just mentioned the next changes with respect to section F on page 8. And there's a similar section that pertains to tier 2 systems. And there's a similar section at the bottom of page 11 having to do with screening and visibility. And this would say tier 2 solar energy systems shall be screened to the maximum extent reasonably possible from public roadways and adjacent properties through the use of architectural features, earth berms, landscaping, fencing, or other screening methods which harmonize with the character of the subject property and the surrounding area. Screening shall not, however, interfere with the normal operation of the solar collectors. And then at the end of that paragraph, we've added covenant regarding the maintenance of any required screening shall be provided by the applicant.
David, that doesn't mean that they don't have to screen it if it'll interfere with this panels. They still have to screen it.
Yes.
Okay.
Then paragraph D in the middle of page 9, where we've moved from earlier in the local law, and we're picking up the wording, the clearing of vegetation shall be limited to that which is necessary for the construction operation and maintenance of the tier 2 solar energy system. Solar energy systems shall not be sited within any required buffer areas. And we're also picking up coverage from earlier in the local law where we deleted it. And it would say the area beneath ground-mounted solar collectors and solar energy equipment shall be included in calculating maximum permitted building coverage for the applicable zoning district, notwithstanding that the collectors are not buildings. These calculations shall, however, exclude pervious open space between arrays or rows of solar panels. The maximum permitted building coverage for the lot shall be 35%. And we include a paragraph like this later on for tier 3 as well. That had been moved from earlier on. And actually there was reference to impervious surface coverage, and we got rid of that because it's not really impervious surface coverage. At the bottom of page 11, we have the same wording that I just read with respect to tier 2. Now it applies to tier 3 as well. And then if you turn to page 13, we have the same 2 paragraphs, clearing of vegetation and coverage 10 and 11 that I just read with respect to tier 2. Now they're moved for tier 3 as well from earlier in the regulations. The next change is on page 15. Under vegetation management plan, it would now read the application for a tier 3 solar energy system shall include vegetation management plan which incorporates either existing and proposed native perennial vegetation and seed mixes to the maximum extent practicable for foraging habitat beneficial to game birds, songbirds, and pollinators, or use of sheep to manage the vegetation. Use of sheep shall be in accordance with 200-26A of this chapter, except that a special permit from the ZBA shall not be required, and sheep shall be allowed in any zoning district in which a tier 3 solar energy system is permitted. There would be no need for a special permit from the ZBA because they would be getting a conditional use permit from the planning board and site plan approval from the planning board. You don't really need the ZBA involved. And that section 200-26 now says you can only have sheep in residential zoning districts. So this would allow them in whatever zoning district a solar farm would be allowed in. And then there are no other changes until the very last page. And The only changes on this page are with respect to table 1 at the top. And instead of a 2-acre minimum lot size for a solar farm, it would be a 4-acre minimum lot size. I think I got all the,
I think you did. Fantastic. Before we move into public hearing, board members, does anybody have any further comments, any concerns? I know that there's still some conversation happening. We got some, we got some letter today about sheep versus pollinators, and pollinators are really better than sheep, so we shouldn't allow the sheep. And we did get the answer that sheep do eat the pollinators, not the pollinators, but the species that encourage pollination. Maybe. But so, and I did ask for a little clarification, but unfortunately, I'm not able to pull it up on my phone right now. So I thought I'd be able to, but I cannot.
are you looking for an email?
Oh yeah, I was. No, it was the email. It was actually the email from Donna Sharrett where she had responded to my. Oh, did I send that to you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That would be awesome. Thank you. Fantastic. Sheep would reduce machinery use and are excellent for lawn areas around businesses. In case of solar farms, having native pollinator plantings is by far superior to adding more mowed space. Mowed space has very little, if any, habitat value. Unmowed wildflower meadows also provide nesting opportunities for ground nesting birds. There is such a loss of habitat for pollinators and birds who also eat seed heads of the plants. Also, unmowed native plants, particularly native grasses, establish very deep roots, which is excellent for soil stability. Scientists are calling the massive loss of insect species and populations the insect apocalypse. The numbers are quite alarming. And that was pretty much why she was recommending that we don't consider sheep, but do allow pollinators or prescribe that plantings be done. Anybody have an opinion about
Isn't
that?
there currently a law that you have sheep either way? Did we
In
discuss it?
only in residential neighborhoods. Yeah, and we don't have a heck of a lot of sheep,
No.
as far as I know, in town. Anybody right
You know,
now?
Vinnie?
I don't know. I know of some goats, but they were actually in Newcastle or Yorktown. I can't remember which, but do I hear anything opinion wise? Want to just stick with the pollinators and be done with it?
Yeah. Pollinators.
All right. All right. So much for the sheep. Sorry, sheep. You're out. Pollinators, you're in. Was that a bahumbi instead of humbug? Okay. Okay. So anyhow, that's otherwise I feel like that this captured a lot of the feedback that we've gotten from everybody, and with that minor friendly amendment, which we'll have, I guess, for the next round. Luke, Tamadana.
So it seems like unless you get any out of left field, excuse me, trying to combine phrases, comments during the public hearing, you're probably going to be in a position to do the GML referral.
Yes.
Because there were so many changes over the course of this process. We wanted to wait till we had it in almost a final so that you didn't have to be submitting it multiple times. So
I can make this change tomorrow. and
Yeah.
Do a fresh copy to send to the county.
that would be perfect. And then
Okay.
we could try to get that out. And then the board can, they have been responding quickly, the planning department, the county planning. So if you wanted to, you could probably continue it to your next public hearing on December 11th in the hopes that they've responded by them, although they do have 30 days under the law. So
Or
if,
we can have it continued, and then if we want to.
and then if you have to continue it further, you have to continue it further. But at
Okay.
least gives you the option that if the comments have been received by then, you can consider them and have them in the record and then proceed accordingly based upon what they say.
All right. Well, with that, and no more further discussion from the board, I would like to take a motion to go out of our work session and into our regular meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And would we like to have a roll call?
We would.
Fantastic.
Okay, Councilmember Shaw,
Present.
Councilmember Tory,
Present.
Councilmember Wiltshire,
Present?
Councilmember Feldman,
Present.
Supervisor Levenberg.
I'm here. All
Okay.
right. So, with that, we are now going to open our public hearings. And we are going to start off. The first public hearing is in the matter of the 2019 preliminary budget. First, I would like to say thank you to our budget director, Madeline Zahach, as well as our deputy comptroller, Dale Ferreira. I'm proud to say that we are once again planning to comply with the tax cap, and our budget document reflects that. Also, I would like to thank all of our departments for their hard work, making sure we save dollars whenever and wherever possible so that we can continue to offer what we believe is a very fair deal to our town residents. We continue to look for new and innovative ways to make our government even more efficient, and hope you will be part of that continuing conversation. As you may have heard about Project Forward, we ask that you look at the website and see what some of the results were that we discussed recently about where people think we might be able to have continued efficiencies for further savings. Meanwhile, Maddie, would you like to say anything about the preliminary budget that we're asking to the public to weigh in on tonight before we ask for them to do so?
Thank you. So all of the budget documents for the tentative budget are posted on the town website, so under the budget office tab. And as I mentioned when we did the budget presentation in the work session last week, there have been so few changes. The board made very few changes, and we made very few changes even before the board got in on the process. So what you see in the tentative budget is very, very similar to what we're getting close to being able to adopt. But this board is going to receive at the end of this week a spreadsheet and then also a notes document sort of detailing all of the changes from what was produced in the tentative budget to where we're looking to go from there, as well as a little explanation. And we're also going to be working with the departments to sort of standardize the way that we do some of our invoices, because ever since we switched from KVS, which was our old accounting system, to Munis, it's been not quite as standardized as I would like. So we are working on that this week, and so the board will be discussing that in work session on Tuesday. So that'll be at 16 Croton, 7:30. And I believe the board is also going to be discussing the fee schedule at that point. I know a couple questions about assorted fees came up during our meetings with the department heads. So we plan to review that as well as the document. And then our plan, hopefully, is to adopt the budget right here in this very room on December 11th, which is 2 weeks from today.
Fantastic. And with that, is there anybody here to address the board on the budget for 2019? On budget. Going once. Going twice. Okay, so with that, we will ask for.
Unless there's any reason to leave the public hearing open, you could make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a motion to close the public hearing on our town budget for 2019?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you so much, Madeline Zahach, for preparing such a wonderful document and working so hard to have this very large audience here tonight. Thanks. Okay, next up, we are asking for comments on local law number 5, formerly local law number 4, leaf blowers. We've been speaking about the proposed local law regulating the use of gas-powered leaf blowers for some time now. At our last work session, I believe we felt that the updated version of the law was in good form. Tonight is an opportunity for the public to weigh in on the most recent changes. Our counsel to the town, Ms. Christy Tomadonna, has led the charge on this local law. Before we open it up to the public, Ms. O'Donnell, do you have anything to add?
I mean, we discussed most of the changes at the work session last week. The current version is intended to a little bit further streamline the process because a lot of the comments the board was getting was about the enumerated exemptions that previously existed. So that's been reduced. It also allows this town supervisor to declare a moratorium when there's a storm or other exigent circumstances, which is a little bit broader than the way it was previously worded. It also changed for the building inspector to have the authority to issue permits for a temporary period of time under special circumstances. And one of the things you and I had discussed earlier today was because if Mr. Hamilton is going to be issuing these permits, it may be a good idea to have him have an opportunity to review and weigh in. And so if the board's amenable to it, I can reach out to him tomorrow and hopefully we can get some comments from him for the work session. If that way, if there's anything to address, you can address it then. and then be in a position to continue the public hearing and possibly close it at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Oh, Supervisor, you had also mentioned to me the possibility of removing Section A, the definition of leaf blowers, and just having it say everywhere gas-powered leaf blowers, just so, I guess for someone who's reading it who may not read through the whole thing in order, it would be clear exactly what it's being referred to. So if the board is agreeable to that, that's certainly a minor change that I can make tomorrow.
Okay. Fantastic. And with that, is there anybody here from the public who would like to address the board on the proposed local law number 5, leaf blower? Going once? Going twice? Okay. So we are going to keep the public hearing open until December 11th.
Or motion to adjourn the public
Motion
hearing
to
to be
adjourn.
continued
Yes.
at your meeting on December 11th.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. All right, moving right along. Next up, we're going to be opening the public hearing for local law number 6, solar energy. I'd like to once again thank our planner to the town, David Stallman, for the overview of the changes that the board had requested at our last work session, and which you were able to incorporate so cleanly and finely in this latest draft. I know you had a lot on your plate, so I appreciate getting it done by tonight and joining us. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to address the board on the proposed solar energy local law? Okay, please come on. Mr. O'Connor, welcome.
Thank you for this opportunity. As I explained to you, this year, my wife and I had installed on our house solar panels. Unlike the commercial deals that are out there where a company will come in and you have no money down, they'll put solar panels on your roof, and now you buy your electricity from them and Con Edison combined. We had solar panels put on the minority of the people putting solar panels purchased them. We purchased them. One of the gentlemen across the street from me also purchased. And I didn't realize it at the time. And the point I made to you was that I was limited to 110% of my capacity of what I've been using in the house, what our household's using. And we could not go any further than that. But the commercial people that are out there are not limited to anything. They plaster these roofs with solar panels. So obviously the only way they can make money is to sell electricity not only to that homeowner that they put it on that roof, but to Con Edison as well. But for some reason, there's a regulation out there that we, us citizens, are not allowed to put on our roof more solar panels like they have. And we can also help reduce the carbon footprint, but for ourselves, produce more electricity on overcast days because we'd have more panels. But we'd also then, on the good days, be able to sell some of that back to Con Edison. And whoever can only imagine the lobbyists that got this put in that restricted us citizens from purchasing our own panels and enjoying and reaping the benefits, rewards of going solar, of being green, of lowering our carbon footprint. But more importantly, we can make a few dollars. And are we being eliminated from competition? I know it's not for you to decide, but I want the public to hear this. And I hope that when you do your all of this legislation, and I didn't catch what, if that was, I heard you allude to that, but I didn't know what it was reference to.
You remove that restriction.
Well, but you're removing restriction, but is that being, what about the power authority? What about Con Edison? Who put that restriction in place with them?
You may be limited by the power authority, but you wouldn't be limited by the town.
Okay.
So if the power authority changes its point of view, the town will not be standing in the way.
All right. So is this covering the entire town of Ossining?
Unfortunately, no.
right.
Mr. O'Connor,
All
I
right.
know you know that it doesn't
Okay.
because
but
we don't get to set the laws for,
All right. So
the
thank you for
village.
my moment in the
Yes.
sun. Okay.
yeah, haha, unintended. Thank you. No, but we did actually discuss your feedback last week at our work session, and that is one of the reasons we removed that restriction because it didn't seem like it made a whole heck of a lot of sense to actually limit the amount of power that could be produced and stored by and sold back to if you have the ability to do that on your roof. So we thank you for your input because that was actually part of why that was eliminated from the tier 2, right? Is that where it was? It was in tier 2 and tier 1?
Uh,
I don't know if it was in tier 1, but
Was, I think we removed it from tier one, I think.
okay. In any case, we appreciate it, Mr. O'Connor. Thank you.
Tier
Uh,
Tier two?
yeah, I thought it was tier 2. Okay. Anybody else here to address the board on solar code? Hey. Hello. We already talked about this. So.
Yeah, motion to adjourn the public hearing to be continued at your December 11th meeting.
Do I have that motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everybody.
I'll
Very
get a clean
exciting.
copy to you tomorrow, and I'll also work on the seeker documentation.
Okay.
I believe you already did that.
I
think
did
you
the
may have done it a little
EAF,
while ago. Oh, yeah, but,
not the,
right, we need the EAF to send to the county.
I believe you have that.
Yeah,
But
so,
not-
oh, you're thinking further ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
For tomorrow, I think we're all good.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, we believe, thank you, Mr. Stallman. Have a great night. So once again, I'm going to launch into announcements. Good night. Unless, am I missing anything? I think I'm not, right? Done with the public hearing and off to announcements? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So once again, and thank you, public, for coming. Bye-bye. Once again, I hope everyone was able to enjoy family and friends this past weekend and start preparing for the next round of holidays. Today is Giving Tuesday, so if you have not already made a contribution to your local charity or charities, you may want to consider, in the midst of shopping craziness, how you can give a little to those who help others. Here's a good start. The Austin Police Department has partnered with the Austin schools to host a coat drive for families in need this winter. Through December 7th, drop your new or gently used coats off at the police station at 8688 Spring Street or at 16 Croton Avenue on the first floor and pay it forward this holiday season. And I also just want to mention that my brother's keeper is collecting gently used clothes for young men, formal or semi-formal attire, so ties, dress shirts, pants, suits, etc. And you can drop that off at Ms. Shaw. Did you think? Do we know? Is it
I
Claremont
don't
School?
think they have a drop off as yet, but they
Okay.
will shortly.
Okay, but you can always also contact us and we'll include that in the update as well. Also today, we had Lorraine Hill from the New York State Archives in to meet with both the town and village departments to discuss best practices in records management. Thank you to our interim town village clerk, Victoria Caffarelli, for setting up this visit. Ms. Hill was a wealth of information, and I believe today's sessions were extremely helpful. We are considering applying for a grant to help us with our records retention in the town and the village, and hopefully we are going to go for a shared services grant. And we will have more about that for you in the not too distant future. And yes, we probably will ask Senator Carlucci to write a letter of a recommendation for that grant. This Thursday, November 29th, join Assemblywoman Sandy Gala for a town meeting at Croton Free Library, where a panel will address the pros and cons of recreational marijuana use in New York State. Come learn more and share your opinion with Assemblywoman Galiff and her staff before session begins. This event begins at 7 p.m. Again, Croton Free Library. You have a few options for the evening of Friday, November 30th. Start off your night with the tree lighting at Market Square, with events beginning at 6 p.m. I think that the Gimme the Mic folks from Austin High School are going to be there with lots of caroling. Join us for music, cookies, and hot cocoa, and even a visit from Santa and Mrs. Claus. Thanks to the Austin Department of Parks and Recreation, along with the Austin Chamber of Commerce, for organizing this beloved and free annual event for our community. If you're looking for something a little more low-key that very evening, Austin Wines and Liquors will host a wine tasting to benefit the Austin Historical Society between 6 and 8 p.m. $15 will buy you hors d'oeuvres and light refreshments along with the tasting, and 20% of sales will be donated back to the Historical Society Museum. Now, is that actually going to be, where is that going to be? That's at the Historical Society, or is it going to be, because then I saw something about Holbrook Cottage hosting something for Historical Society.
No, it's at whatever the address is. It's not 85. It's
196 Croton Avenue?
196 is
At Ossining Wine and Liquors. Okay, got it. Okay. They must also be doing
Oh,
something
no,
with,
that's not correct.
it isn't?
Hold on.
Because I just saw
No,
something that
because
said,
I
it
saw
was at
both
Holbrook
dates
Cottage.
also.
Okay,
Hold-
okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna,
196 Croton Avenue is the Historical Society. So it's being
Historical
held
Society.
at the Historical Society.
It's at the Historical Society. Okay, fantastic. And then over the weekend, join me at one of my favorite annual Ossining events, the Camp Woods Holiday Craft Fair, which will take place Saturday, December 1st between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. and Sunday, December 2nd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Stop by for artisanal crafts, wreaths, candles, pottery, ornaments, knit goods, jewelry, photography, natural body products, a raffle, and much more. Make sure to find parking outside of campgrounds. On Sunday, December 2nd, support the 63rd Ossining Community Christmas Crib dedication at 2 p.m. This annual event takes place at the House of Refuge Apostolic Church at the corner of Croton Avenue and Todd Place. Some people refer to it as the Old Washington School. And you can participate in a 50-50 raffle to help defray the cost of maintaining the crib. Call 914-941-6013 for more information. Abad of Briarcliff will host the lighting of the menorah on Tuesday, December 4th, also at Market Square. All are welcome for donuts, sufganiyot, as I know it, warm beverages, latkes, crafts, and hot and chocolate Hanukkah gelt. Judah Maccabee will be there too. It's amazing. This free event begins at 6 p.m. Sorry. I find that funny. Finally, this Friday afternoon, our Town and Village staff holiday party will take place from 1 to 4 p.m. So if you should be looking for many of us, we will be spending time thanking our staff for all the hard work they do every day on behalf of our taxpayers. And we will be at the Austin Community Center for that. Please do plan around that if you need any of us. We'll be back bright and early on Monday morning to assist you. And with that, I ask if there are any liaison reports. Are there any? Seeing none. Oh, I think seeing
All right.
one. She always
Just
little
at
late.
all right, just as the
Shy.
holiday toy drive is underway,
Okay.
and there are boxes in many locations, including Bob's Army Navy, the new toy store in town, Penny and Ting, the Ossining Chamber of Commerce, Frisco Music. Sure.
Now, do we have a box at 16 Croton for
in the
that?
car.
Oh,
It
it's in
was
the
pouring-
car.
It was pouring
Oh, it's
last
in
night.
Councilman Feldman's car. So if anybody wants to leave
Put
it in her
pouring
car,
car.
I was wondering because I kept looking
Oh,
for it and
I
I didn't
figured
see
you
it.
have plenty of boxes to hang on to for a couple of days.
That's fine. Okay, we'll take them. We'll take them. So we will have a box also at 16 Croton. Okay, because a lot of people do really like that location for drop off.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it yesterday, but it was
Okay.
raining so hard I decided not to.
I
bring the box.
understand. No problem. Okay, but you can certainly give it to one of us this evening after the meeting. We'll take it. Okay. Anybody else for announcement? Okay, fantastic. So, moving right along. Do we have any departmental reports? No, we don't. And so we're going to go right into board resolutions.
Yeah, okay. So first we have approval of minutes regular meeting. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the November 13th, 2018 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. Approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the town board hereby approves the voucher detail report dated November 27th, 2018 in the amount of $112,340.56.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Absolutely. Oh, okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Personnel Parks Department appointment. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby appoints Michael Santiago Ossining to the probationary position of Parks Groundskeeper in the Town Parks Department at an annual salary of $59,760 effective November 26, 2018.
Do I have a motion? So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we are very excited to welcome Mr. Michael Santiago to the Town Parks Department. Mike comes to this entry-level parks job with a lot of experience, having managed buildings in the private sector for many years, and he comes with very high recommendations. Mike, thank you for coming tonight, for your appointment. We always love to welcome people in person to the town family. With your volunteer experiences helping out on the Haunted Hayride, we know you are well suited to the new group you will be working with, and we look forward to many years of great service to our parks and to the town. As a longtime Austin resident, we know you have a vested interest in doing right by our neighbors, so congratulations and welcome. I had a motion and a second. Did I actually have a vote yet? Okay. So all those in favor? Aye. With enthusiasm? Anybody opposed? Okay, congratulations once again, and thanks so much for coming tonight in your best suit. Oh, no. Okay, so next up.
Memorandum of Understanding, Westchester Records Online. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign a memorandum of understanding between the County of Westchester and the Town of Austining for the purposes of allowing continued access by town staff to Westchester Records Online, WRO, for the period covering January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2019.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, so thank you to County Clerk Tim Idoni and the county government for once again making the service available to municipalities. You ask only that we opt into the shared service, county, and we shall hopefully do so. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Wonderful.
Okay. Grant disbursement agreement, improvements to Lewis Angle Park, SAM grant number 6107. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining authorizes the supervisor to sign a grant disbursement agreement with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for a state and municipal facilities grant in the amount of $100,000 for improvements to Lewis Angle Park, project ID number 6107, subject to the approval of councils of the town as to form.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, so first let me say, woohoo! We are so grateful to New York State Senator David Carlucci for designating these state funds, and yes, Daniel Cohen, you can pass that along, to our town park. Also, many thanks to Victoria Caffarelli for her hard work getting all the documents together, which DASNY required, which requires a great deal of patience. I am so relieved that we were able to work through the state process with DASNY to basically reallocate the money, which was originally going to pay for the recirculating water system, to instead make much needed safety improvements to the spray park at Engle Park. This particular feature of our town park is one of the most popular spots for our residents and their friends in the hot summer months, and we are pleased to have been able to make these needed improvements with the help of these state dollars. Look forward to a ribbon cutting in late spring, possibly to coincide with our Earth Day festivities, but that's still to be discussed. But possibly that's going to be April 27th. We will see if we can work that in, but it might not work perfectly. So keep your ears peeled. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
With enthusiasm. Anybody opposed? Yay.
Okay. Flexible benefits plan, increased healthcare maximum for 2019. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign an amendment to the plan document with Sterling Benefits, Inc. to increase the maximum allowable annual healthcare maximum deduction to $2,700 for the 2019 plan year.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Okay. So this is good news for our employees, as you can now utilize more of your healthcare spending pre-tax, and we're pleased to be able to continue offering this great benefit to our staff with very little impact on the town budget. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Okay. Request for bids, delivery of meals and supplies for the nutrition program. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby authorizes the town clerk to advertise a request for bids for the provision of meals and supplies for the nutrition program located in the Austining Community Center to be amended to include a request for proposals with and without delivery of the prepared meals to the community center. Bids shall be submitted no later than 10 a.m. on Monday, December 17th, 2018 to the office of the town clerk.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So this may sound familiar to you, because unfortunately we did not receive any responses last time we announced this RFP. So we are going to tweak the request and try again. And as you might have heard, we're going to ask that people submit bids with and or without delivery of the food to Austining. Kathy Astaro, director of our senior nutrition program, has been hard at work seeing if she can find some interested suppliers, and we are hopeful that we will be able to secure a competitive bid to continue to serve nutritional meals to our seniors. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, Village Pure Extension Plan Submission, November 27th, 2018. Whereas it is the town board's understanding that the Village of Ossining desires to expand and enhance the Havistar Ossining Ferry Pier, the pier. Whereas Hudson Valley Arts and Science, HVAS, a local not-for-profit, has received a grant from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for design, permitting, and construction documents in connection with the proposed expansion and enhancement of the pier. And whereas HVAS has helped lead a grassroots effort under the auspices of the DEC grant to engage the community and stakeholders in a dialogue about the design and configuration of the pier. And whereas stakeholders have included MTA Metro North, the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club, the adjacent restaurant, the owner of the adjacent residential development, and the town of Ossining, among others. And whereas the town of Ossining owns a park adjacent to the ferry pier and proposed pier extension, and so it shares the Hudson River waterfront with the Village of Ossining and other property owners. And whereas a total of 38 schematic design options have been prepared and discussed with the community and stakeholders, including the town. And whereas there is consensus among the stakeholders that recommended schematic design number 38 is the preferred alternative, optimally balancing stakeholder concerns. And therefore be it resolved that contingent upon the approval of the Village of Ossining, the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby affirms support for HVAS to formally submit option number 38 to all regulatory agencies requesting permits to build said option number 38. Those agencies include, but may not be limited to, the New York State DEC, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Office of General Services, and the New York State Department of State.
Do I have a motion? As you may recall, we heard a presentation on this project at our work session last week, and there was general consensus from the board that we would support the design to be submitted to the state and federal agencies. Since last week, a question arose from one of our town board members about how much of the dock extended into the town-owned waters. So since then, the design has actually been revised one more time to lop off 2 to 3 feet in order to avoid unnecessarily complicating the approval process, which they thought might be complicated by the fact that a little bit of the dock did extend into town waters. As a result, none of the dock with the current design would extend into town waters.
Wasn't weird.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody. And we have no monthly reports. Visitor recognition on any item at all. Okay. With that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss personnel, contracts, and advice of counsel in relation to recent repaving of Hawks Avenue. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We will see you next week, December 4th, Tuesday, December 4th at 16 Croton Avenue for our work session. We know there's lots of great stuff to be doing. Don't forget Giving Tuesday is still on until midnight tonight. And you have a chance to contribute to any of those great charities and also get some wonderful gifts locally for your loved ones, friends, and family. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you soon.